for round number 1. And it all kicks off with Jonathan Gray. Only 1 round win this season for the rookie. 14th in points, needs to start gaining rounds. But racing one of the best cars in the category, Chris McGahey. 9th is his best start in the last 5 races. And check out Jonathan Gray. 6 points, 7:06. He moves into round number 2.
Next up, it's Vincent Nobile up against the Aussie, Shane Tucker, with that elite performance horsepower. We know he's got the power under the hood. Can he make the run? Oh, he gets awfully loose, has to push in the clutch. Vincent Nobile pulls away and gets the win with a 6:68 elapsed time.
That brings us to Roger Brogdon, Greg Anderson, another big points implication race.
Greg Anderson really needs to get this win to have a shot at the top 10. Roger Brogdon in that 10th spot. Greg Anderson has not had a very good race car, but he has been doing outstanding on the tree.
We just saw Shane Tucker. He's got the elite performance engine that Roger Brogdon had. He brought out his own piece. Best start of the season with their own horsepower. But hold on, this one's going to be a whole shot loss. Give it to Greg Anderson. Slower ET, but combine that with the reaction time, he got to the finish line first.
Well, as we go on board and look, that's because Greg Anderson was 600ths of a second ahead off of the start. Big advantage in pro stock. You can't give that much off on the starting line and expect to win, even if your competition's not running all that well. But it was good enough for Greg to get the win.
Tough break for Roger Brogdon. Questionable going to Englishtown. Greg Anderson now within 5 rounds. Here's Alan Johnson, the home race on the tour, in his 14th attempt to try to win one here, racing Dave Conley. This isn't how you're going to win one. Oh, boy,
hang on.
pressing that center line.
Wow.
Dave Conley, 7th in the points, no finals this season, but a round win here. Alan Johnson may have to think about moving to Denver.
He has just not had any luck here at Bristol in that particular run. It just went left. About the time he pulled second gear, very early in the run, he was fighting it right there, trying to get it back. It just never would. Finally had to push it in the clutch.
Greg Anderson, that's a big round win against Roger Brogdon. You're sneaking up on that top 10. He's trying to hang on. But give us a little perspective on the significance.
Well, it's very important, Gary, and unfortunately I haven't been able to get my Summit Chevy to run very well all weekend. So that was a big round win. Yes, he's one of the guys I need to get around. There's a lot of them I need to get around. I told you before, I got to find a way to win races. I've been close the last couple of weeks. I haven't been able to win. I'm going to need a little more performance, so we get another chance to try and fix it. That's the good news. Now we got, I'm sure, a heavy player coming up second round. They don't get no easier as they go. So Roger did a great job all weekend. His car ran great. I feel great to get around him. I was certainly the underdog there, and obviously the good Lord was shining on me on Father's Day. I've had a lot of great Father's Day memories. I can think back to Columbus when we always used to race, and it was so hot up there, so hard to get down that racetrack. That's going to be what this is going to be this afternoon. She's going to be a tuner's race, buddy.
Look forward to it. Thanks.
I look forward to it.
Greg racing Erica Ender-Stevens or Larry Morgan. That matchup to come right now. It's his teammate Jason Line, lane choice at every race this season. No losses in round 1. Taking on now 67-year-old B. Gaines. Happy birthday this past Thursday, but not going to give himself a gift. This time it's Jason Line, 6:67.3. A nice pass.
Next up, we got Shane Gray, your #1 qualifier, up against Kurt Steinbeck. Shane Gray has had an outstanding car in qualifying. Low ET 3 out of the 4 sessions, just going down the racetrack every time he lets out the clutch, and this is no exception. Another nice pass, 6:66.3 elapsed time at 207 miles per hour to get the win.
First member of the Gray family to start #1 in pro stock, reset both ends of the track record. Jake Coughlin is coming off his 2nd win of the season 2 weeks ago, taking on Kenny Delco, one of the 58 drivers in the category to win. Delco won in 1990 over Ricky Smith at Gainesville, but he's not going to beat Jeg here in round 1 at Bristol. Jeggy with a 6:65.1 out of the left lane.
And that was low ET of the first round. Next up, we got Erica Ender-Stevens up against Larry Morgan.
She set the record at Englishtown in both ET and speed, the first driver to do both at one race in 174 national events. Let's take a fresh from Florida, fresh look at Erica Ender-Stevens.
Ender-Stevens, driver of the Elite Motorsports Chevy Camaro Pro Stock car. Born and raised in Houston, Texas, reside in New Orleans, Louisiana. I live with my husband, Richie, and our dog, Gucci. Richie and I are both competitors, I guess true racers at heart. No matter if we're bowling, shopping, racing, it doesn't matter. We're competing against each other. I first got into drag racing by growing up at the track with my dad, and then I started racing junior dragsters when I was 8 years old and worked my way up through the ranks. I always wanted to be a professional race car driver. I was a big Shirley Muldowney fan, still am, and Shelly Anderson-Payne. They were my two that I looked up to the most when I was a kid, and I'd hoped to get to this point. My ambitions from here are probably the same as any driver, to win the World Championship. This year, though, I've got the team behind me, and they have treated me so awesome, and I'm very optimistic about what's to come. So to win Indy and win the world.
No first-round losses this year for Erica Ender-Stevens, whose husband's Richie Stevens. Larry Morgan's last round win here at Bristol came against Richie back in 2007.
No first-round losses because she has had a dominating race car this season. But she did struggle here in qualifying. She did qualify number 3. Seems like she got together in that final session. It looks like she still got together. She just pulls away from Larry Morgan, makes a great pass, 6:60 lap time at 207 miles per hour to advance her to the second round.
So as we take a look at the ladder heading to round number 2, 2 lower qualified cars move on. Shane Gray, Jonathan Gray, the brothers, and then there's the number 12 qualifier, Dave Conley, that kept Alan Johnson from winning at his home track.